Hey, welcome back to the Gray Space podcast. This is episode 18, but if you're a real Gray Space head, if you're a real astronaut, then you actually know that this is the 20th episode in total because, reminder, I do make Spotify exclusive episodes, and there are 2 already up on Spotify right now. And I'm also going to see if I can get this video on Spotify because, sorry, I won't rant about Spotify forever, but I did ask the Spotify heads if they cared about having video or not, and it was a mixed bag, but there were people that were interested, and I'm honestly just interested in seeing how I can get this video on there. So, hey, if this video is also on Spotify, hey. And welcome to the Gray Space podcast. I am Gray. This is my space, and we are going to talk about fashion in this video, but we are also going to talk about some real shit. We're going to talk about some life events, because if you've been keeping up with me on my socials, you know that on Monday, which was my girlfriend and I's anniversary, we got in a car accident, another one. Just 2 months after the one I was in back in March. And I've not been doing well. I'll talk about it here. Maybe I won't tell like the full story because I told it in the vlog, which I still want to let y'all know. I was not vlogging during the accident. We were not like on our phones or anything. It was an accident. But we were in a head-on collision on our way to get our anniversary dinner. And I'm injured. I've been on crutches. I have like other injuries. My finger's been getting better. The bruising has gone down and the swelling has gone down in my pinky. It's still swollen and still bruised and still sore. Honestly, the thing that like hasn't changed, this does make me a little nervous, but I've just never had like an injury like this, so I don't know if it's normal. But the one thing that I don't feel has been getting better is my chest from like where the seatbelt locked in. I have like a sore spot right here, and it's just kind of like almost everywhere I move, and I can't stretch, I can't work out. And it's been a hard week. So we were driving my car, but my girlfriend Lexi was driving because we were dressed up for our anniversary dinner, and I was in some heels, and I didn't want to drive. And so she drove. And so she feels really bad about the whole thing. She feels really guilty, which I don't blame her at all because it was an accident. But we were making a left turn, which also the fucking cop, one of the cops on the scene said that we were supposed to get 2 tickets. And since the system wasn't working, he didn't ticket us. But apparently in the city of Austin, which is where we live, Austin, Texas, unfortunately, apparently in the entire city, it's like a city ordinance that you can't make any left turn out of a private drive, which is what we were doing. We were turning left out of a shopping center, which does count as a private drive. I think everything but public roads count as a private drive. So it is essentially just apparently fucking illegal to make left turns in Austin unless it's like at a protected left turn, like a light at an intersection, which is really poggers and cool. And it's really awesome that they don't tell you that. And me and Lexi didn't know that because neither of us got our license or like took our driving test, did driving school in Austin because we're not from here. So that's really cool because, fun fact, it really was just a fun fact because they just don't tell you that. So if you have moved city from where you've gotten your license, see if there's any like specific, I don't know, city ordinances. But yeah, it's been hard for several reasons. It's just like my body has not obviously been feeling its best, and it's not been really regulating. My emotions have been like super out of whack. I'm like super emotional recently. I've cried multiple times a day. I'm like crying right now, just thinking of crying. That's how my body's been. That's how the hormones or whatever the fuck, whatever happens to your body after a car accident, it's been making me so emotional and really depressed. I've felt just like so miserable because I am on crutches. Although my ankle's been doing better, it's definitely like a very light sprain, if it's even sprained, but it's, you know, it was bruised and a little swollen and painful to walk on. So I am on crutches, but that's been better. But like, just the whole thing, like I get up and I have to use the crutches and it makes me want to cry. I don't know. I lay in bed and I just like feel trapped and miserable. I just keep like replaying everything that happened in my head, like my POV from after the impact. And me and Lexi were talking about that last night, and I was fucking crying hard about it. Ugh, and I have to go to work tomorrow. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it, to be honest. Because literally I'm crying right now and I haven't even talked about anything really hard. That's just like, my body has just been off its shit. And I haven't been able to like really go outside, you know? And I obviously haven't been able to work out, which is a big thing for me. It's like a big part of my routine. And it helps me like regulate myself. So I haven't been able to do that. And walking hurts, and I can't even walk properly. So I've just been like down. I've been trying to keep myself busy with YouTube stuff, which has honestly been a light. Lexi and YouTube has been a fucking light for me right now, because literally everything else sucks. If I think about anything else, I'm like, oh, I don't have a car anymore. Oh, it's probably totaled. Oh, awesome. Oh, sorry. Bro, I've been eating like shit. I've been eating like ice cream by the pint and for breakfast and lunch. It's bad. Not that like eating like junk food is bad. I'm not like getting on to myself about it, because bitch, I was in a fucking car accident. But it literally just like makes my body feel bad, especially with like not being able to move. I don't know. I just feel very demoralized right now, if that's a proper way to say that. But I've been able to, not able to, I've been trapped at home more. And so I've been able to like do more video stuff. And I've found a new addition to my editing that I am loving. Oh my God, I love it so much. If you haven't watched my most recent vlog about whenever I upgraded the altar, check that video out, because I think it's cool. And also a video I'm posting today, the day I'm recording this, where I do some trad goth makeup. I don't know, it's just a fun addition to the editing process, and it makes it easier. And so I've been doing it more, and I'm happier doing it. And so since I've been at home more, and you know, I want to create more and I have this free time to do it, I asked you guys on my Instagram for video idea suggestions. And so that is what has brought us to the topic of this podcast, the main topic of this podcast, because I'm not going to be crying about the car accident and how depressed it's made me. Oh my God. But sorry, back to my side note. Did I mention this? As you can see, my fucking brain is scattered. Although I don't know if I can blame that on the car accident, or if I'm just kind of like, I am just kind of dumb. So it could be that. But I'm scared to go to work tomorrow because I haven't gotten in a car like since the accident. Thinking about cars, like literally, thinking about a car and I'm crying. Dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Me thinking like, damn, am I gonna have to call out tomorrow? That's whatever. Lexi's driving me, obviously, because I don't have a car. I am still scared to drive. I'm scared to even get in a car. So we're going to see how that goes tomorrow. But anyway, back to the non-sad shit. Something that you guys recommended. I have some fashion related videos. And so this is a little bit weird to be as a podcast episode, but honestly, I can't move enough and I don't have like the energy and the mental health enough right now to like do like lookbook. I can't do that right now. But basically, if you read the title of this episode, I'm just going to be talking a bit about finding your personal style and elevating your look and just giving like tips and suggestions based on how I did it and how I have learned and grown my fashion sense and my personal taste and sense of self, and how that's transferred into my like fashion expression, my self-expression in my fashion, because I've been turning some looks. I'm not going to fucking be humble about it. I mean, I am. I'm so humble. My little outfits. I'm kidding. I like what I've been wearing and you guys like what I've been wearing recently. So let's talk about finding your personal style, your personal aesthetic, if I say, and how to elevate your look. And I do have some pre-notes written down, which side note, I have my journal here. I am going to make a video about journaling because that's something a few of y'all suggested. So I'm going to do like a journal tour and then a page where we do a collage together because I have a designated page for a collage that I just haven't put in yet. So that'll be, look out for that. Look out for that on the YouTubes. Anyway, some pre-notes before I get into this. In my experience, having a lack of personal aesthetic or sense of style typically comes from a lack of confidence and or fashion knowledge and inspo. That's honest, that is literally just my personal experience with it, is like I have for the longest time just like not been confident in myself in any way. And so I don't know how to like explain it. I always liked to be creative, but I just didn't like I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I didn't care about like really like my outfit being a good outfit, I just kind of wanted to like look acceptable, and so my style would kind of vary based on who I was surrounded by. And so I don't know, this might be like too deep in the lore, but I know that there are some of you that have been watching me for fucking ever. So if you've noticed like times where I am like, I go into like I would say in the times before this past year, because I think this past year has been the journey of like really growing in my confidence and my sense of self. And that's clearly been reflecting in my style recently. But before that point, if you've been like watching for a little bit, you can see my little phases of like edginess, and then they kind of disappear when I'm like, I don't know, talking to different people or trying to do a different thing, where I was just like kind of lost, I guess. But I've always come back to my edginess. I literally, like, guys, the 13-year-old emo phase, I was there. I'm not a fucking poser. That's honestly something I've been scared of. As I've been getting, like, more confident in, like, this is what I like, this is what I'm drawn to, and I'm really diving into it and getting more explorative and bold, and I'm having so much fun with my fashion. And so something I was thinking recently is like, bro, are people gonna look at like old pictures of me, like, jump scare warning, like when I was dating males, and be like, and look at me now and be like, poser. Guys, no. My first concert was when I was like, my first unadvised, like no parental advisory concert was when I was 12, and it was in Houston at the House of Blues, and it was Hollywood Undead. Okay, I'm not a poser. I don't know if that's a flex, actually. But fucking random ass side tangent. I don't know how I got there, but yeah, I've noticed personally that like, obviously clothes, you know, are a reflection of you, I would say, to an extent, or at least maybe they should be. That's a personal opinion. I don't know. Is that a hot take? Sorry. I think I really just had to think that thought out in my head. And I've decided that maybe it's not a hot take. It's just kind of like rude to say, but I've also decided that this is a safe space and that I'm going to say it. Okay. I believe that your clothing is a reflection of you as a person. And so I think that people that dress boring, I think that point still stands. Anyway, I didn't need to say that, and I literally don't know how I got to that point. Anyway, the second pre-note for this video. If you've been following that horrifically tangential train of thought, second pre-note before we get into this is developing your personal style can take time and go through phases. It's a reflection of you. See, that was a segue. Okay, that was kind of intentional. These are ways I developed my personal style and how I think you can elevate yours, but it's not a rule book and probably won't help everyone. Because the way I got more into fashion is not based on like a lot of actual fashion knowledge. I'm doing that part now. I'm spending a lot of my summer. I want to read up on some, sorry, my fucking vocal fry. It is the morning time and I have been into depression. Okay. So if my voice is extra annoying, you have to be nice to me. Cause guys, reminder, I was in a traumatic car accident 4 days ago. Anyway, I plan this summer to read up on like some fashion history, teach myself like fashion, just like basics, style basics, some sewing basics. I want to actually get into the nitty gritty of the creation and, I'm totally blanking on the word curating of clothing. But me getting into fashion, it wasn't through that. So this might not be for everyone because this is not going to be like a foolproof way. But if you don't have any fashion info or inspo and you just like want a place to start and you don't know where, maybe this will help you. That's all I'm saying. So step 1 is to find your personal style. So firstly, here's something you can try, okay? Pick an aesthetic and or a character that you're drawn to. It doesn't have to be something that like you think is a representation of you or something that like you feel it has to represent you, I guess. It could be for any reason, you know, because there are some people that are like, I have a weird hobby, you know, a guilty pleasure. There are things that allure to people, that draw you in. And I want you to focus on that. I don't want you to like look at a character and just like the way that they dress and therefore copy it. That's why I'm being kind of specific with my wording and being drawn to a character. I want you to like that character. And when I say character, it can be a fictional character. It can be a musician, you know, an influential person or artist to you. It doesn't have to be like a fictional character. For me, it was. So that's why I use the word character, but it can be anything. It can be like a model if you are, you know, into like I guess more into the fashion scene, and you are drawn to a personal like aesthetic, like I really like Bella Hadid and Alex Consani's looks. So something like that, you know, where it's maybe not something that you could visualize yourself as, but it's something where it's like there's something about it that draws you in. So once you have found that thing, this is your inspiration, by the way, because a lot of people, I feel like it's unhelpful to be like, guys, just pick an inspiration and then build from there. This is how you're picking your inspiration. Okay. So pick something that draws you in, and it doesn't even have to be a character. It can be like an aesthetic type, you know, like if you've seen a mood board on Pinterest or TikTok, or like, I know that this is so like a Zoomer coded way to get into like dressing, but like if you like a core, you know, like fucking, I can't think of one right now, like Hobbit core, cottage core, that's the one, cottage core, you know, like core, that's an aesthetic, that's a look, it's a curated look. So identify that, pick something that you find yourself drawn to. It can be maybe an archetype within a character, or a specific look, or a specific genre of music, or a specific, you know, a collection of mood boards that have a common thread, you know, pick that, and then pick the parts about it that draw you in. What do you like about that character? Is it the personality? Is it the appearance? Is it the clothes? Is it a relatability factor? Identify what draws you into it. If it's an aesthetic thing, you know, like if you're looking at a mood board, try to pin out like the actual words you would use to describe the mood of the pictures in the mood board, you know? So if it's like if you're looking at like a gothier or like a more alternative mood board, you know, I'm picturing like black cats or like fog, and that's kind of stereotypical, but I'm trying to stick to some generalizations just so it's easy and so multiple people can relate. But like, if you're drawn to that, why? It's like this dark allure, this like mystery, this magical energy, you know, pick stuff out that you like about it. And if it is a character or a person and it is just like their sense of style, that is completely fine too. You can totally be inspired by like people's way of dress. I subconsciously, with my guidance, am also trying to get you guys to avoid like trend hopping and like jumping to buy something to copy another person. I don't really want you guys to do that. But of course, if you like a person's style, that's a style inspo for you, then of course, you know, you can be inspired by that. Nora Fawn on TikTok, I freaking love her sense of style. It's not something that I like lean into a lot, but whenever there are times where I want to lean more like dark academic, and I definitely try to emulate her in those looks for me personally. So that's like a style icon or inspiration, you know? So once you've picked your inspiration and you've identified why you're drawn to it, what inspires you about it, you're going to translate that inspiration into clothing. So if it's a character or if it's like a person, again, I would like for people to avoid trying to directly copy their look. Although sometimes if it's like a specific piece of clothing, that's kind of inevitable, you know? And so that's kind of fun, especially if it's like a statement piece, you know? But try to like emulate that look of your inspiration, of your person or your mood board. So obviously it's easier if you're following a person as your inspiration or a character, because you can look, you know, for me, something that was really influential in me like confirming like this is how I really feel good in my dress. It makes me feel cool and like powerful. And I just like the vibe that it gives me. And it's a scheme that did I say that right? That I'm drawn to. And a lot of what made me realize that was watching Nana. And it was like multiple things. It was time and place, because I had first like moved into this apartment by myself, kind of fresh. Well, fuck, when I moved in here, I was in a relationship. And then like a week or two later, I dumped that person. But basically moving out, starting my life anew again. And really being able to confirm my lesbianism, as I've previously mentioned. And so I started watching Nana at like a pretty developmental time for me. And so Nana Osaki was a very huge inspiration. I was very drawn to her and inspired by her. And I just really liked her personality and energy. And so I definitely tried to emulate her look. So I have my fur cheetah print coat, which is not the same as hers. Cause I want to say that hers is cropped. I don't like cropped jackets. So that's why I say, like, don't try to copy one for one. If you want to, if that helps you, then sure, but like, don't go and buy someone's whole closet. Please don't do that. The earth is dying. But if it is a like mood board or a core or like just a general aesthetic that you're trying to turn into a look, I would look up there are like different ways that you could try to find clothing if you're not good at visualizing, because there's also, I tend to forget that there are people that think in words and think in pictures. Like I'm picturing an exact dress right now. It's bodycon, it's got spaghetti straps, it's a black like faux velvety material. It's kind of like a stereotypical like gothic dress. But there are people that don't think in pictures like that, so they can't see a dress in their brain. So that's kind of tricky and unfortunate, because I don't think like that. So maybe I'm at an advantage. Sorry. But if you are like that, what you could do is you could look up, like if you're looking at a mood board, try to identify like the aesthetic associated with that mood board, or if you just have the name of an aesthetic in mind that that you are drawn to or inspired by, look up like clothing brands that sell, that kind of clothing. And it's going to be a struggle, especially if it leans more alternative, because y'all, I'm sorry, but oh my God, we have a lot of corny, goth, emo shops. A lot of them. But that's just maybe me being snooty. You can get my ass for that if it is. But yeah, you can look. So you can like find clothes. You can go to Pinterest. You can look up that aesthetic. You can look up like on Google, like shops that sell clothes, for that aesthetic. And you can get a gauge of the type of fashion associated with it. And you can try stuff out. See what you like. This is like where it's okay to be, where you can test things and be experimental. And maybe I shouldn't say it like that, because it's always okay to test things and be experimental in fashion. That's like the best part. I love looking at getting dressed like it's a fucking challenge sometimes. Like it's literally a competition, like a game. But obviously if you're trying to figure it out for yourself, it's totally okay to maybe do like a copy paste type thing. I definitely did that in the beginning. I was definitely pulling looks that were like, okay, that's just, you are trying to look like Nana Osaki. And I did, and I was. But now I look like me. I love me. Grayson Core. What the fuck? So let's talk about how you can get there. Once you are in this weird period and it's kind of a weird period. You might look back on it and be like, I wasn't dressing the best. And that's okay. Because some people, you know, obviously some people are born with the sauce and they step out of the womb dressing, right? But some of us don't. I didn't, okay? So you might have like a weird period where you're just trying to like fall into a look until you really like feel it and you blend it with like your own personal self, your personality, your personal tastes, you know, because I don't dress the same as I did like 8 months ago, you know? But I had to dress how I did 8 months ago to find what I like and get comfortable dressing the way I do and comfortable with myself and the way I feel and liking it and experimenting to get to where I am now, to where I feel like, I don't want to say that I have like a unique sense of style because I think that that's pretentious. Like I just wear black. It's really not that serious, but like I really like the way I dress and I love my sense of style. But it took me some time to get there. So once you've played around and you want to elevate your look, let's talk about how we can elevate our looks, because that's the next step. Firstly is the power of accessory. I can't believe it took me so long to really realize how essential accessories are. And I think a big part of it, I have this written down here, is that I feel like people tend to, or at least I tended to look at getting dressed as like a checklist, you know, you put on the top, you put on the bottom, you know, you start with the undies, you put the socks and shoes on, and then you're dressed, you know, like getting dressed is an objective. And while that's, I guess, still true, I look at it more as like a challenge, you know, where it's, instead of like meet this criteria to be considered dressed, it's literally like, how much can I fit into this outfit before it becomes like a little unbearable or until it's just right, you know? So fucking even just like getting some more socks and belts. It doesn't even have to be like anything crazy. That's the thing, is especially now that I've gotten more comfortable with the way I dress and elevating my look through like building it up and layering and accessorizing, is that I find myself getting clothes that are plainer. I definitely still have my fun pieces. Do not get me wrong at all. But like when a few years ago, I used to put on like a cool, like designed button up short sleeve collar t-shirt and like some Air Forces and be like, I'm fucking dressing. Like I used to think a cool pattern was dressing. Oh, no. Oh, there's so much more to life. There's so much more to clothes than putting on a cool shirt and calling it a day. Don't do that. If anything, like sometimes less is more, because then you can like do things where it's like, most of your outfit is plain within a color scheme, but you have like some things that have pattern and you can mix patterns, and sometimes they don't work, and that's what makes it work. It's amazing. But anyway, getting into accessory, and I'm still working on this because I don't wear bracelets. Oh, I don't wear bracelets or rings. Although recently I have been kind of itching. My fingers have been like, put some rings on me recently. And I don't have any because I don't wear rings. So maybe when I'm buying things again, because me and my girlfriend are doing No by May, and also I was in a car accident and my car's probably totaled and it wasn't paid off, so I shouldn't be spending money. But once I'm spending money again, maybe I'll get some cool rings. But yeah, bracelets for me, I'm still working on. I never go for them. But I really used to never do jewelry much at all. Or I would like put one beaded colorful necklace on and be like, ooh, it's a pop. And that's not bad. But you can do so much more, you know? Like that's the thing I've realized. And maybe this is obviously, like I said at the beginning, not gonna like sound enticing to everyone, because I like to layer. I like to do a lot of accessorizing. I dress a little, I wouldn't consider myself a maximalist, but I do try to do more. I try to do the most. So, and that maybe not isn't your thing, you know? For me though, and obviously that's not like a for sure rule, because sometimes while it is my natural instincts to like add more, what else can I do to this? Can I add this? What bag? What like da 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 da. I do sometimes hold myself back when I'm like, this is a sleek look. This doesn't need more than the 2 nice little necklaces you have on and that pair of heels, baby. Which is something that comes with time. You know, like once you get more into how you dress, you can start to like, I don't know, having like developing style is just so fucking fun. Ugh. But yeah, consider accessories, necklaces, ties, belts, also, socks and like tights. Get some fun tights, get different pattern tights, colored tights. You can even, this doesn't count as I would say clothing pieces that count as accessories, you know, like vests, boleros, things that are like mesh, you know, maybe that doesn't count as an accessory. That might be a stretch, but you know, the power of accessory, a bag. Oh, don't get me started. But also layering. So getting like good basic pieces, but also the fun pieces that you can put on top of them. And then figuring out like getting into like colors. Like once you're in, you know, your look to where you like, usually you know what colors you wear and what you're drawn to. And you start to like build your eye for it. And you have your own like maybe conscious or even subconscious color scheme. You can play with like clashing colors that don't clash, you know, where it's like on paper, orange and green, oh, that's going to be gaudy. But in the right way, it works because I've seen it work, because the people that are in that color scheme and they know themselves and how to dress, they make it work. And you can like mix patterns and you can mix things that you wouldn't even expect to like, you know, like you would never see me maybe a year ago being like, I'm going to wear jeans under a skirt. But I built an outfit the other day and I thought it was so fucking cute. It was jeans and a skirt and socks and Mary Jane's. And it was just all so freaking cute. That's my thing. You'll probably notice as I'm talking is that I like to do a lot. And I like to like, I love looking at clothing as a challenge of like making pieces fit until it paints like the perfect picture that I'm seeing in my head. And so that is something that I would also say to help elevate your look is take risks. Because I didn't, obviously it comes with time, because I mentioned that at the beginning with, you know, having a lack of confidence and how that can tie to your lack of sense of style, is that I've definitely worn outfits where it's like, I am being perceived right now and I chose to wear this, so I have to accept this even though I don't like that. And I still have moments like that, but I'm so much more confident in myself and how I dress. Like I genuinely do think I have a good sense of style, and someone that doesn't like me can, you know, that's hate listening to this. If you can, you know, listen to that and then look at my Instagram and be like, bitch, your outfits are ugly. What the fuck? And good for you. But when I step out and I'm the only one at the coffee truck in Bastrop serving cunt, then what, you know? And I feel confident in that. So lick the rim of my asshole. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it's not like easy at first. It takes time. You know, it took me about a year to really get into the point where I'm at now, where I'm just like really like ferociously into like fashion and styling and stuff. But you are going to have to take risks. And obviously there's going to be times where you try something and it doesn't work. Oh, I've had outfits humble me last week, and that's totally fine because that's how you learn. And that's also how you learn that you like stuff, you know? And that's also how you learn that sometimes the vision in your head isn't, you know, at its prime, you know? Because I was making a video last week. I'm working on a video where I take one piece of clothing and I style it in 3 different outfits. And that, you guys are going to see that whole thing. I'm doing it with 3 different pieces of clothing. So I have a journey where I'm building 9 outfits. And I built this one outfit that in my head looked so different than how it looked on, where it was like, oh, I feel like kind of embarrassed wearing this. And sometimes that happens, you know, but you have to take risks. And another one is that you have to own it, you know, because sometimes you have to leave the house when you're unsure about an outfit. I still leave the house unsure about like wearing darker lipstick, even though I really like wearing it. I like how it makes me look and feel. But I also know that it's such a dramatic look, especially when paired with a kind of plainer eye look, which I like doing with dark lips. But I know that it's not people's everyday thing. So if I'm showing up to Target like that, it's like, hey, lady, it's 1 p.m. on a Thursday. Are you on break from like the club? What's going on? But I don't care, you know? But that was like a risk for me. The first time I did that, I was like, I hated it. I was so uncomfortable. I was like, my body was warm the whole time, but I made myself do it. And now I'm like, I don't care. You're staring because you can't pull it off. And if that's delusion, let me be delusional because it makes me feel good and it doesn't hurt anyone and it's not going to hurt you. If you have to feed yourself some delusions, maybe feed yourself some delusions sometimes because it's a process, you know? So 2 more notes. And these are kind of, I don't have like the best segue for these, so sorry about that. But the second to last note is focus on building your wardrobe because obviously as you develop your sense of style, you know what you look good in, you know what you like to wear, you know the colors you like. You might need to replace things in your wardrobe. That's totally fine. I have to admit, I'm sorry. You've caught me. I've bought clothes in the last year, you know? But I still want people to avoid like going out and buying a whole new wardrobe because that's a thing that I was on TikTok fucking getting on people that like don't have a sense of self. And so they follow like TikTok trends. And I truly don't want that to be the case. And that's not me being hypocritical because I have a very intentional goal of like, I'm not buying fast fashion anymore, period. I'm making my own clothes or I'm saving for like good pieces. But as your style changes and you become more aware of what you want and what you like to wear, you might need to make some changes and alterations to your wardrobe, and that's totally fine. But I would recommend focusing on building it up over time, and maintaining cohesion in it. Try to build like I'm trying to think of it in like a way to say it that doesn't sound weird because the thought that immediately comes to my brain isn't even the most accurate thought, but almost try to like curate your closet when you're out shopping, you know? And of course this kind of comes naturally. Like I find myself in an aesthetic, I guess, where I wear dark colors. I wear a lot of black. That's kind of and like, you know, dark green, dark, like reddy colors. So of course, if you're in an aesthetic like that over time, your wardrobe is just going to look more cohesive. But I want people to avoid matchy stuff. You know, sets are fine, but try to focus on like a cohesive overall look, to where if you were to look at your closet and unfocus your eyes and have that blur look like it's like an assigned official color palette, you know, instead of like a blurry picture of a messy closet, you know, because then it helps you pick outfits, it helps you make outfits. And also, when you try to keep in mind like cohesion, it helps with things not clashing, I guess. Because, or I guess, I don't know, because that's kind of even not a set rule. Obviously, I guess, I don't know, are there fashion rules? But like, you can mix patterns and they not work. You can mix patterns and they work. But some things are just point blank clashing in a way that doesn't work. And I know that that's kind of hard to just like say without being able to describe it, but it is something that you just become aware of over time as you get more into mixing things. But that's why you become more in tune and tailored and cohesive. That was my point. Oh my God. And yeah, as I already brushed on, build your closet over time. And I know that this was a shorter episode. Was it really? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to cut off of me crying, because I'm like, do I want to show myself on the internet doing that? I go back and forth between how much I want to show you guys, because I'm like, this is like, you know, real life. And when I watch lifestyle YouTubers, I love when they're real. So I like being real with you guys. And I do like being real with you guys, you know, aside from that. But then I look back on it when I'm like in a different headspace and I'm like, my haters are watching. Not really. But sometimes, like very occasionally, I'll look at like my social media and I'll look at it like, if I was someone looking at my Instagram, never seeing it before, how does it look to another person? And so like I'll kind of get in my head about things I've posted in the past about like being vulnerable. So I don't know how much of the crying you'll get. But I had fun this episode. I hope you did too. I have to go, number 2. I'm sorry, I have to go. Thank you so much for listening and watching this episode of the podcast. If you're on Spotify and you haven't rated the podcast yet, go ahead and do that. And in that box where it says like, what do you want to hear me talk about next? You can fill that out. You can put anything in that box, anything you want. If you're on YouTube, thanks so much for watching, and like the video, comment on it, share it, I guess, and check out all my other stuff. Check out all my other socials so you can check out all my other stuff, and I'll see you soon, and I love you, and goodbye.